Morning. Let me just wait for my YouTube to go live and my Instagram. Well, I think Instagram's live already, and my Facebook. How y'all doing? Come on in. Come on in. Let's have fun today. Let's talk about the elephant, in the room or in the countdown today. Let's talk about the election and what it might look like depending on who wins this presidency. So let me just let y'all tune in. If you're tuning in for the first time, definitely say hi in the comments. Let me give you a shout out. Good morning to Mariam. Good morning, Mercy. Ash Touch says no audio. If you can hear me, put prayer hands up because we need prayers today. So put your prayer hands up and let me know you can hear me if you can hear me. Why is it saying y'all can hear me? Did you put your volume on? Can you guys hear me? Let me see. Can you guys hear me? Oh yeah, some people can hear me. Yeah, people can definitely hear me. Let's see. Alicia says, Kamala to the front, please. Yes, God, please let her come to the front. I mean, I am wearing blue to represent who I voted for and who I am rooting for, and so I do not want to hear anything from anybody because there's absolutely no other reason why I shouldn't be voting for, Vice President Kamala. Or Kamala to become the next president, and by the grace of God, she will be. So let me introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Aisha Chidole, and I'm an immigration lawyer here in Atlanta, Florida. I represent clients over the United States, internationally. If you would like to immigrate to the U.S., happy to help you. My phone number here is 407-995-6567. And if you want to send a WhatsApp, it's 404-333-8751. I am loving the blue energy today. I'm definitely very nervous about it, and I feel sick to my stomach to even think that it could be a close election. Prof. Josh, if you are Trump 2024, why are you even on this live? This is a live for those who are interested in immigration, so why are you here? Gabby, why are you here? I think it's really funny, generally when I hear immigrants, or immigrants who have become U.S. citizens, just make a quick shift and forget where they came from, and where their ancestors come from, and where, other members of their family come from. So, there are many reasons why, I chose to vote, for, Vice President Kamala, but, I'm not going to use this live to talk about it. Today, I'm really going to talk about what both of them stands and educate y'all today on what the immigration policies are so that we know who and where everyone stands. Someone says, pin your number. Let me just put, someone says, I'm looking for a wife overseas. Well, we're not a dating agency. We can't help you with that. So you might want to go to Tinder or one of those sites, to find a wifey. All right, guys, hold on. Let me type in because it's so hard for me to talk and type numbers. And if you're not hearing me, Dutch Money, you need to turn up your volume or log out and log back in because everybody else can hear me. Okay, so let us start with President or former President Trump and what a Donald Trump win would mean for immigration. So let's dig into it. So I'm reading this straight from them and what it is that they've said they want to do. The first thing is, now you guys are cracking me up today. Nana says if Kamala wins, you can get a wife. That is so funny. I hope the person that you're commenting is reading that. Yeah, we're all praying for a positive outcome. So the first, and most critical thing is that, Trump has promised the largest domestic deportation of all time. That's the first thing. That is what he said on day one he is going to do, that he is going to enforce the largest deportation of all time. So let that sink in, guys. So again, if you're an immigrant, pending immigrant, have family members that are in that position, let that sink in. The second thing that he's proposed is to use the military for immigration enforcement. That is a significant escalation of how the federal government, approaches undocumented immigrants, using the military, on immigrants to get them out of the United States. Okay. The next thing that he has promised is workplace raids. So for those of y'all that are that team, and you're working under the table, you're working for cash, you're working for check, you don't have your papers straight, he has promised workplace raids. This is already happening in certain states, including Florida. But this is going to become much more on a national or on a wider scale if he does become the president. The next thing he's going to be doing, according to him, is expanding the border wall. So they're going to expand the border wall. Obviously, that's something that, in his first term, they said they wanted to do. The border wall right now is 2,000 miles long. He built less than 500 miles of it, as he said he would, but he's saying he will continue to do that, this time around. And then they are going to hire more Border Patrol agents. He plans to hire 10,000 new Border Patrol agents, to continue to, I guess, protect the border and, send people back. And then there's something called returning to the remain in Mexico policy. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about it, but it's for those who migrate from Mexico into the U.S., seeking asylum, where basically it's like, okay, you can file your asylum claim, but you're going to go back to Mexico, and stay there while your asylum case is pending. You guys know that asylum cases, first of all, have a less than 10% approval rating for most people. And most asylum cases can take anywhere from like 5 to 10 years. So that's what you'd be looking at. And the one that is the most problematic for me personally, because it essentially means that you, from an executive branch, you are trying to interpret and change the Constitution, is to earn birthright citizenship. He has promised that on his first day back in the office, that he is going to pass an executive order to end the long-standing constitutional principle of birthright citizenship. Now, let me explain what birthright citizenship means. For those of you who don't know, birthright citizenship means that the 14th Amendment basically says that if you are born on the United States soil, regardless of your race, regardless of where you've come from, if you are born on the soil of the United States, you are automatically a U.S. citizen. This has been in place since 1857. 1857. So this one person is now saying that he is going to use an executive order to end it, even though I think that that's, let me not curse, because I got to remember that I'm on live, so I'm not going to use a swear word. But that's, whatever it is, that's, but the fact that, you have a Supreme Court that is majority skewed towards certain principles that this person has, it makes it scary and problematic, whether they would agree with him or not. Before you can say, well, we don't really care what this person says, because, once you get to the Supreme Court is going to say that that is completely against the law. You can't do that or whatever. But we have a Supreme Court right now that is very unpredictable, and it's very favorable to Donald Trump, because, he's basically put the people that he wanted in there. So, and then he's also going to do what we call ideological screenings for immigrants. I don't know if you guys know what ideological screening means. It's basically, for anyone that is, they're going to be screening them for anyone that they believe is anti-American, Hamas, jihadists, and all of that. But what happens a lot of times with screening, just like it happens with stop and frisk, is that certain groups or certain factors are unfairly targeted based on implicit bias. For instance, stop and frisk, while, it might be whoever made it thought this is a great law in theory, there is typically an unfair screening of people that are Black and brown, more so than any other group. So in the same way, Muslims are going to get a brunt of this, based on, ideological screening. If you guys remember, in 2016 to 2020, there was a Muslim ban on a majority Muslim countries. And what was problematic about it was that he included Nigeria in the Muslim ban. I'm Nigerian, I'm Christian. Nigeria is not a majority Muslim country. We do have Muslims in Nigeria, but it's very much a Christian country as well. It's 50-50. But again, unfairly skewing, and basically singling out people. So, with these types of laws, it is very difficult to do them in a way that is fair. So those are some of, or a quick summary without, because I'm just being mindful of time, of some of what he plans to do. So let's move over to Vice President Kamala, Team Kamala, who's here. So, for Kamala, she also wants more Border Patrol agents at the border. Just to, and then she also wants to expand the immigration detention, where basically there are going to be more beds. Right now they have like 34,000 beds, at the detention center, and they want to bring it to 50,000 beds. You guys, if you're Nigerian, if you're right in Nigeria, you're voting for Trump. You do know that, Nigeria is one of the countries that he bans, right? It's one of the countries that he bans. It means that if you're petitioning for your mother or your father, let's say you're a U.S. citizen, so you've forgotten where you came from, your mother or father will not be able to come here, which is what he did, 4 years ago. So keep that in mind as you consider yourself, Team Trump. You can vote for whoever you want, but just keep those things in mind. Also, he has Kamala has also said that she's going to appoint more asylum officers and more immigration judges. The idea behind this is to solve the problem of how long it takes for asylum cases. Like I said earlier, asylum cases take 5 to 7 years most times. And so the idea is to reduce the timeline by staffing up, with more people. And then, she supported a higher bar, for asylum claims, where you have to have, a higher bar to show that you need asylum into the U.S., into the United States, especially, based on the border. So, for people to say she just wants to let all those people in or whatever it is, it's not true. She's created a higher standard and a higher bar as well. And then she also wants to expand legal pathways for immigrants, which is part of what President Biden has done now. And, in that regard, she would want to continue that, securing the border, but also at the same time, making the immigration system more orderly and humane. A lot of people say, VP Kamala, was in office. What does she do? As you know, she's a vice president. She can't do much. She's not the president. She can't write executive orders. At the end of the day, she's not the president. So she's obviously going to have different policies, that are different. And I'm sure the things that, President Biden has or wanted to do that she will support. For instance, parole in place for those who are undocumented and entered into the United States undocumented and have been here for 10 years and are married to U.S. citizens. She wants, he wants them. And, I believe that she will continue that as well, if she enters office, for them to have a path similar to those others who were married to U.S. citizens and came in, with the visa. Because when you think about it, the rules right now are that if you came into the country without inspection and you marry a U.S. citizen, you can't generally adjust your status. If you came in with an inspection, meaning you entered legally into the United States, right? But you overstayed your time, which also then makes you illegal, you're allowed to adjust. So, I think that creating a system that is fair, if you give one, if you give the others, then create a path for the others, maybe make it a little bit more difficult, like with the PIP, but just give them a path that one makes them have a path, but also makes it a little bit more difficult than the normal path, just so that there's not an incentive for more people to rush into the US. So those are basically her stance right now on immigration and Trump's stance. So, I will definitely be watching today and hopefully hoping for the best. Ultimately, at the end of the day, whoever wins. America is a great country. We have so much checks and balances. I want to believe, that hopefully we will all be okay. But, at the end of the day, I'm an immigration lawyer. I'm a Nigerian. Before, yes, I was born in America, but I'm very much a Nigerian, and I have taught my children that as well. I'm an immigrant. I represent immigrants. I'm a woman. So it makes no other sense who I would be supporting. All right, guys, let's jump into questions. Let's see what's going on. So this person says, I have a 5-year EAD. Can I apply for a travel permit? You can apply for a travel permit if you have a I-485 pending. If you have an I-485 pending, you don't have any deportation proceedings, then you can apply for a travel permit. Okay. Question, I got deported 23 years ago. I got married 6 years ago. After I applied for VAWA, I got my combo card. Is it possible to win residency because of that deportation? Yeah, it's possible. 23 years ago is a long time. America is a very forgiving country. I mean, I don't know the particularities of your situation and how you got back into the US, but the possibility is definitely there. All right, guys, let's see questions on Instagram. Someone said, I didn't know you were Nigerian. Yeah, I'm Nigerian. What's the fate of the green card holder under Trump? Well, right now, nothing. There's nothing that has threatened that. It stays the same. It's just that for certain people, it's going to be more challenging to get green cards, and then especially if you are from a country that, remember there were the 6 countries. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head. I just remember Nigeria, Yemen, and just a few other, predominantly Muslim countries where there was certain categories, basically people in the family preference category, they couldn't basically get a green card. All right, let's see. I see people here arguing about both candidates. Yeah, someone says because they think they crossed, let the bridge burn. I'm sure it will come back to them in one way. Yeah. Honestly, I think that I'll tell you all the truth. When I see immigrants or descendants of immigrants, which truly is what America is, everyone here is an immigrant, except the Native Americans. When they have such hateful things to say about immigrants, it's definitely very disappointing for me because, they say, you never forget where you came from and you never forget the people behind you. Sometimes, God puts you in a position of elevation to remember and to be a good steward of that to help others climb up, and get to where they want to get to. Because for you, someone did that for you. Just the same way that, for those of us who are able to vote today as women, or for those of us who are able to vote today as Black people, many people laid their lives, they sacrificed their lives for us to do that. They could have easily said they didn't care, so, it's never a good approach to life, and it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with politics. You should always be in a spirit of how can I give back? How can I make the next generation better? How can I live this world to be a better place for my children and the generations to come? That should always be the mantra of most human beings. If you're Christian, I'm Christian, that's what it really is all about, right? Let's see. One big space, you asked the question, why does she not do those things? I believe I answered your question. She didn't do those things because she wasn't the president. She doesn't have the authority to do those things. Just in case you don't know how the law works, the legislative makes a decision. CalMA is in the executive branch, okay? You have Congress, which consists of your congressman and your senators. They pass the legislations, they pass the rules, right? That's number one. Number two, sometimes they may pass a rule and the president, not the vice president, can decide to sign it in or he can decide to veto that bill. So that's how rule and government works in the United States, not the vice president. And sometimes the president gives that order and people shut it down by the time it gets to court, i.e. the parole in place that they tried to pass, When they first entered office, they tried to do more stuff also with creating a path to a green card. So these things were tried. But again, you cannot hold her to that standard. You can't hold her to that standard because she was not and is not currently the president. Maybe tonight she might become the president, and then we can then start to hold her accountable for the things that she's promising. But it's really important that when you have conversations about politics, that you're not just going off of sound bites from the shade room or neighborhood talk or what your friends are saying. It's really important to educate yourself. It's really important that you go on those platforms of whether it's President Trump, or former President Trump or Vice President Kamala, and go read what they've done and what they plan to do, instead of listening to sound bites of people that really don't know what's going on or what happened or how the law works. Okay. I mean, it's just like the people who say, former President Trump gave them the stimulus checks. No, he didn't. Treasury gave that. It's Congress. It was a Democratic Congress that passed that bill. But what happened? He said, let him sign his name. After all, Obama gave checks, Biden gave checks, but it was signed under the Treasury because that's how it's done. So education is really important. And I'm not just talking about academic education. I'm talking about intellectual education where, before, you blab out and, you scream and, talk about one person, that you really learn about what the person stands for and not accuse people of things, Someone says, what if you overstayed, you left and are now married to a U.S. citizen? It will really depend. So typically overstays typically have a, if you've overstayed your time in the US, meaning that you've overstayed the time that your I-94 allows you to be here, which for most people is 6 months. If you stay for less than 1 year, then you have a 3-year bar before you can enter back into the country legally. And if you stay for more than a year, then you have to wait 10 years. But as long as you enter back after that time with a visa, you wouldn't have any problem adjusting your status. Okay, so hope that answers your question. Amalal is asking, well, if you overstayed, who's the best option? In immigration, in every way, the best option is blue, team blue, always. Okay, so all right, let's see. You guys are arguing on here. Someone says, are you based in New York? Not at the moment. I am licensed. I'm a licensed practicing attorney in New York, though. That's actually where I got my bar license. How many years ago? 2006. So, wow, I'm old. So 18 years ago. And I practice on Wall Street, doing mergers and acquisition. I still take cases in New York, just like I take cases in all 50 states. So we can help you regardless of where you live. New York is still where majority of my family lives. And so it has a special place, or holds a special place in my heart. Someone asked, what's going on with parole in place? Well, they're going to be hearing it today, actually. So I have a feeling they may postpone it again, just so that they can see what the outcome of the election is. Gabby says she can't hear me. Maybe log out and log back in, because I think everybody can hear me. My Campasa says Attorney Aisha for president, she'll get the job done, right? Honestly, I literally don't think I have the emotional wherewithal, to deal with what these people are dealing with, and I think that, people can be so cruel. When you read some of the comments on social media, this person didn't do that, this person didn't do that. And I just want to sometimes scream and say, well, you run for office. How about you run for office and see how difficult it is, because I think that we can all sit down on this pedestal and be keyboard warriors, but we don't even know the courage, the strength it takes to put yourself out there, on this level, to be literally annihilated by people who don't know you. Just because you've decided to, take on this position. So no, I will not be running for president, but I'm here to support. I filed an I-130 and an I-485 in March, and the only thing I have is a receipt notice. So if you filed it in March, 3rd month, and we are in the 11th month, so you're about 7-8 months in the process. That's a normal timeline. Most marriage cases, Um, you guys are cracking me up today. Most marriage cases, sorry guys, I'm completely ignoring my people on YouTube and Facebook. I'm so sorry. Like my camera, I really need to find a way where I can have my camera where I can look at both of you guys at the same time. But you're in a normal timeline. You know, it takes 6 to 13 months for most marriage-based cases. However, you know, if you don't get your work permit by next month, maybe do an inquiry if you've not gotten that, just to see what's going on with that, because you know you're definitely in the window to get it. One more question before I jump up. Nana says, no question, lawyer. We're fighting here. I can see that. I have a 10-year green card. Will I have issues with immigration? Well, I hope not. Just make sure you don't get into trouble, you know, because if you get into trouble and it's a deportable offense or a crime of moral turpitude, you can find yourself losing your green card and being deported. So hopefully don't do that. I'm doing my green card application in December. Can I do my medical now? Yeah, currently, as the law stands as of today, you know, the medicals don't expire anymore. So you should be fine. All right, one more question. I got to jump off. Is it possible to get a quote for a VAWA petition before consultation? No, it's not possible. You definitely need to schedule a consult. We need to make sure you're eligible, and then we got to go over all the different requirements with you, and then the fees and our different payment plans and how it works. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys have an amazing day. We'll be back on Tuesday, and we'll talk about, you know, the aftermath of today, and hopefully, you know, there's peace. That's the most important thing, that we have peace no matter the outcome, you know. All right, guys, have a good day.